You have been hearing about it since Sunday, and the forecasted ice storm has hit Kentuckiana. It is slick out there. Most people stayed off the roads today. That is the good news. They stayed home. It does look like a Sunday morning with wide spaces of no cars in Metro Louisville. City and state road crews have been hitting the roads heavily with salt since before noon today. They are out there giving it their best, and we have the First Alert Storm Team Beast out on the roadways right now, while Alden German has been watching the crash reports. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Doug Proffitt. We do want to start with Ben Pine. He's got the latest on a storm that's going to start changing in about an hour or so, but still hang around. Ben?
Yeah, different types of precip for everybody, and the precip type changes as it gets colder from north to south. And we emphasized this the last couple of days, that it's a very gradual and slow process, and that the worst part of the storm would be towards the evening commute. And when those temperatures finally started to drop, we're at 31, 1 degree below freezing, and we can see the sleet and ice covered roads here just off the 2nd Street Bridge. 2nd Street Bridge also has some icy spots too. And again, those temperatures dropping from north to south. We still have 4 types of precip across the area: rain, freezing rain, sleet, and some snow to the north. We're at 26 in Cordon, so just over the river in southern Indiana. That is all sleet, and then some snowflakes mixing in where it's even colder, lower 20s in Bedford and Paoli. A little bit of a breeze out there at 10 to 20 as well, and that puts our wind chills down to the teens and lower 20s across the area. Still just above freezing. Watch for some areas of flooding, maybe some rivers, creeks, and streams rising here. 34 in Columbia, so south of the Bluegrass Parkway, it's just been rain. We are getting icing on the trees though around Hodgenville over to Springfield and Elizabethtown, so areas just south of the parkways starting to get a little bit of that glaze of ice on elevated surfaces. We still have precip that's on the way later on tonight. Not as heavy as what we've had throughout today, but it's going to be pretty light stuff that'll give us some additional light accumulation of ice and some snow. So we do keep that ice storm warning across most of the area in purple until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. 1/4 inch of ice. A few pockets could be a little bit more. I think the power outages are kind of limited thanks to some of the sleet that's been mixing in and how long it's been taking for that freezing line to drop to the south. So that is great news. We don't want power outages whatsoever. And here comes that snow line a little bit later on tonight. This is around 10 p.m. As those temperatures continue to fall late tonight, we switch it over to the predominant type of precipitation, snowfall during the overnight and early morning hours. So that's going to put a light coating on top of the slushy ice. So I do expect slick and hazardous roads to continue tomorrow morning. We dry out tomorrow afternoon, but not a whole lot of melting going on with temperatures staying below freezing the next couple of days. We could see about 1 to 3 inches over the northern half of the area as far as snowfall. Lighter amounts, maybe a dusting for some areas off to the south. Again, watching those temperatures drop across the area. We're down to the upper 20s at Iroquois Park and PRP. That will allow things to freeze. Watch for that black ice and refreezing during the overnight hours. Let's check the road conditions now with Alden German.
Ben, thankfully, so far, we've been fairly quiet out there. We haven't had very many problems, which is, of course, very good. You're looking out over Spaghetti Junction at the moment, and over the last couple of hours, we've started to see more slush and sleet accumulate there on the shoulders in particular, but the main roadways have been looking all right, but don't be deceived by that. You're still probably going to have some slick spots out there, especially as temperatures continue to drive overnight. We'll begin to see black ice form, so don't get too confident on those roadways. Just because they appear wet doesn't mean that they actually are wet. You could actually be coming up on some ice, and I have seen a couple of cars run off of the roads throughout this afternoon, possibly because of that. Looking at our mobile traffic tracker map, we only have one incident. That's on I-65 near I-264. I believe Reed Yaden was looking at that earlier, but it's not causing any significant delays. They just have blocked the rightmost lane of that. Otherwise, traffic is moving fairly slowly. That's what those orange and red colors are indicating. One thing to be aware of is especially side streets and side roads in these neighborhoods that possibly aren't going to be plowed or lower on the list. It's very, very slushy at the moment, but as temperatures drop, that's when you're going to see them freeze over into a pretty thick layer of ice. So just something to be aware of and to be careful. For a look at those roads with someone who's on the roads, we turn it over to the WHAS 11 Storm Team Beast and Reed Yaden. Reed?
Hey, Alden, very good. Your traffic activity's been like ours this afternoon. Traffic has been very light. We're on the western tip of the 264 now coming into Shively, and if it weren't for semis out here, there would not be a lot of traffic. Let's take roof cam and look out the back here. You can see trailing us here, not a lot of traffic. Looking at the driving surfaces, what you're seeing is basically some slush on the roadway, and here is why. 28 degrees is what we're sitting at right now. We finally dropped down. We've been sitting around 31 all afternoon. We've dropped down to 28, but when we were downtown Louisville, we were a degree colder. We were 27 degrees. So it tells us, as Ben has been saying, that freeze line is dropping to the south. Our precipitation here is very light right now, mixed in with a little freezing rain, but it is not causing major problems. Slushy roadways, but there's some crews on the other side of the road, as you see, and they've been out salting very heavily all afternoon, all through Kentuckiana. Reed Yaden live on the Beast, WHAS 11 on your side.
We have completed to the first pass about 50% of our routes, and we will be at it all night. Our activities will be dependent on the kind of precipitation that comes. Like John has said, it starts at freezing rain, and then it might go to sleet, and then it will go to snow.
Now that's Vanessa Burns from Louisville Metro Public Works giving us a brand new update within the last hour at 5 o'clock. Now take a look at the live Metro snow removal map. What is it telling us right now? Well, that half is in progress at the moment, and that half of our roadways are salted. The color-coded keys there showing a lot of it underway with the green. The red shows that things are salted at the moment. Good news, and they are going to keep on moving through Jefferson County through the evening hours. More team coverage now on the road conditions across Kentuckiana, from southern Indiana in the north to different parts of the metro and down to Elizabethtown. Grace McKenna has been following the ice storm in Louisville since before it switched over. She's live at the Snow Salt headquarters. Grace?
Hey, Doug. Yeah, it's a bit quiet here now this evening, but just a couple of hours ago, all of those salt trucks were coming back for another round. That's because those 50 or so crews from the metro got started right at about 2:30. That's when things switched over enough to where they could start safely salting the roads to where it would actually be impactful. They've now been working their way across all of those surface roads with KYTC handling the highways in a partnership they have there. They'll be working all through the night, I'm told, as long as they need to. Sal Melendez with Public Works says the continued precipitation is a bit of a challenge. So as you head home tonight, you want to give those crews plenty of space.
Give us room to work, give the crews room to work, that following distance. And you do that by, if you're going to be out, allowing yourself time to get to your destination.
Now, we have seen, of course, those crews out and about on the streets today. They're doing some great work there. So make sure, like Sal said there, to give them plenty of space. You're going to be seeing them all throughout the night. We're going to send things over now to WHAS 11's Rachel Droz at the airport. Rachel.
Yeah, Grace, it is a lot different here, a lot less busy because there's really no one here. All flights have been canceled and it is a complete ghost town at Louisville's airport as temperatures start dipping below zero. Everything outside, of course, is starting to freeze. The snow team here still working to keep runways clear and ice-free in case any cargo planes need to take off or land, but all commercial flights have been canceled for at least the rest of today. That means empty ticket counters, empty baggage claims, and very few travelers. The busiest area here, I would argue, is the rental car counter. One person I talked to got notified last night that his flight for tomorrow morning was canceled. Instead of waiting to get rebooked in a couple of days, he decided he would rent a car, drive to Atlanta, and catch a flight out of there.
You know, what are essentially my options? Driving south obviously is going away from the storm, so that should be fine to drive. So yeah, just booked the flight and got a rental car, and here we go.
Now, airport officials tell me they expect significant flight cancellations tomorrow as well. So if you're traveling Friday or even this weekend, be sure you check your flight status before coming to the airport to make sure that that flight is actually taking off. For now, reporting live at the airport, Rachel Droz, WHAS 11 on your side.
Rachel, thank you so much. And more news here at 6 as the switchover was beginning right around 2 o'clock. This is what happened here near downtown Louisville. Louisville fire crew is called to a home after a space heater was put too close to flammable materials inside. This happened on Stevenson Avenue. That's right at Melwood in Clifton Heights area at a home with an adjoining woodworking shop.
We worry about things like frostbite and conditions like this again, not just slips and falls.
The fire got so involved, crews say that the call was made to just let it burn out. Nobody was hurt, though. Firefighters remind everybody to keep space heaters away from flammable materials in our very cold weather. The freezing line was slow moving today, so Elizabethtown crews had plenty of time to prepare and get ready. And that's where we find WHS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez. He's been in Hardin County watching the situation there today and what's ahead for them tonight. Isaiah?
Well, Doug, the story here in E-Town, rainy, honestly feels a little windier and maybe a touch colder, but still little to no freezing rain on the grounds here. In fact, public works crews tell me the grounds are just too warm right now. Roadways are sitting at 37.5 degrees the last time they checked. Now, both Hardin County government as well as Elizabethtown officials, as you take a look at the video here, they both tell us salt truck drivers have been doing a lot of waiting on standby to treat roads. Some crews even sent inside and on call until they're needed later into the night. Now, city spokesperson Amy Inman says things are fluid. It's just about being ready.
Initially, we thought this would wrap up around 11 o'clock, but as the weather shifts, you take that into account with your personnel, and all of those factors are being handled by our supervisors who do a great job. It's just a waiting game right now.
Meanwhile, E-Town city officials have a new link up on their website. That's for you guys sitting at home. It's on their Facebook page too. Once the time comes, you can go on it and report anything you're seeing specifically on city roads when it comes to fallen tree branches or power lines. And if you do that, that way it'll give crews a better time frame to quicker be able to go to those scenes. We'll continue to monitor this. For now, Doug, we'll send it back to you.
Great, Isaiah down in Elizabethtown. Great to see Isaiah wearing boots. He's a Florida native. We kept telling him, you're going to need those boots, Isaiah. Go out and get them for this snow.